I don't know how you like to spend your weekends, but Saturdays are my favorite time, specifically early in the morning, because I get up early before the rest of the family is up and I decide that I'm going to come in and I'm going to watch some YouTube. This is how I like to relax. This is what gives me a little bit of rejuvenation. And if you're anything like me lately, you've noticed there's a difference in the YouTube strategy. So, we need to talk about how YouTube's algorithm is broken, and more importantly, how it's affecting your productivity and your business growth. Here's what's happening is that there's a productivity drain. Like, honestly, learning time is hijacked by oversaturated creatives who prioritize on clicks rather than giving you actual good information. There's also a credibility risk here because the truth is that that does just because they're good at getting you to click on their video doesn't necessarily mean that they're good at what it is that you're trying to learn how to do. So it's super important that you learn how to combat this. And by the end of the video, I'm hoping that you'll have an understanding of what the threats are and that you'll have my advice on my three-level strategies that can help you combat this particular situation and hopefully get your YouTube time back. So, threat number one is the metric driven misalignment. YouTube's algorithm is pressed to optimize videos for their goals, which is watch time and click through ratio, not your goal of high quality content. So, they are going to push videos that are optimized to get you to keep watching videos, not necessarily push you videos that are optimized for what you want, which is super engagement and learning. Threat number two is the scale of distractions. So the trouble is that there are 500 hours of video uploaded every minute. The algorithm can't possibly keep up with that. So there is confusion built into it. You click on a video about lead generation, and the next thing you know, you're hit with 100 low quality videos on the topic, even though you were looking for something specifically niche specific on maybe communication or something like that. And threat number three, as far as I'm concerned, is the credibility crisis. So there are a few things here. Number one is you get a confident imposer, somebody who maybe hasn't really lived in the field that you're living in, maybe somebody who hasn't actually done the thing that you're trying to do, but they're very good at delivering information. And that is really what YouTube is all about is are you capable of making high quality content so that people just want to keep watching? But you have to be careful because people may not always know what they're talking about, which is part two of this. It's the echo chamber. Like, quite honestly, it's super easy to go onto YouTube, find somebody who is a subject matter expert, and then repeat what it is that they say. That's actually a valid content strategy is to go and look at what other people in the field are doing and then copy that content. But the honest way to do this is to add your own take on it. Make sure that you're constantly adding value to each conversation. The trouble is not everybody does this. And the third part of that is actually what I call the jump off effect, or it's more likely called trend hacking. So there's a reason that you are going to see at this time a couple of different types of videos. Number one, the habits that you should start in 2026. So you're going to see a lot of content on that. You're going to see a lot of people. It's a little bit too late for this, but you just saw a lot of content of these are the things that I would like to buy, this, that, or the other. So there's a reason for that. It is called trend hacking. And the reality of it is that if you're a YouTube person like I am, you are going to ride the wave of the trend of what other people are doing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not, in with any sort of malice or anything like that that we do this sort of stuff. But the reality of it is that you as a consumer need to be a little bit careful because YouTube is pushing their algorithm. Remember, they want you to keep watching, not necessarily keep learning. So there are ways that you can actually fix this. And I thought I would give you a few strategies that you could use to fix this problem. And hopefully it helps you clean up your YouTube algorithm and feed just a little bit. But it's going to require a little bit of work. Let's look at the solution. Strategy number one is the filter recommendation. Okay, so I have in my calendar every morning to zero my inbox. And between you and I, it doesn't always get done that way. Sometimes I'm supposed to get it down to 0, but a lot of the times what I do is I leave work that is still in progress, maybe I'm waiting for a reply, in my inbox. That's not really how that's supposed to work. And the same thing is true with your YouTube feed. You can curate what's coming to you and say, I'm not interested in that channel, or I don't want to watch that. So make sure that you're feeding the algorithm quality information. It's garbage in, garbage out. That's a basic computering rule. And if you're feeding it good information by letting it know that you didn't, I'm not saying don't like videos, I'm saying tell the algorithm refuse or don't use this type of channel anymore or this type of video anymore. By giving it good information, you're going to help curate what comes into your feed. Strategy number 2 is probably the most labor intensive for you, and that is to curate your creator. If you're following somebody for a specific reason, you should do a little bit of background check and make sure that they actually have done what it is that they say they're doing here. Make sure that they have credible information. Make sure that they are sharing information that does make sense for you. Don't just take their word for it because they're really good at talking to content. I wouldn't be doing you any service if I was giving you sales and communication advice, if I didn't live in a world that I had to depend on that for my life. So in my particular situation, you can look at my background and say, okay, well, he spent 15 years as a cop. He probably does know how to communicate. He spent 10 years as a salesman and a business owner, so he probably does know how to do the things that he's talking about. I'm not saying do a deep dive or a background check. You shouldn't pay the FBI for this, but I do think that you should be curating this a little bit. Take a look at what their backgrounds are. Make sure they actually know what they're talking about before you just carte blanche take their information. Strategy number 3 is about prioritizing the right information for the right things. If you're trying to learn something, you're probably not going to learn something long form in a short. You're just probably not. Shorts are for giving quick tips or for getting quick answers. How do I unlock my Tesla? A short's good for that. How do I, like change a light bulb? A short is great for that. It doesn't take a lot of time. How to build complex business strategy? You're going to prioritize long form content for that. So you're going to skip over the shorts as you're scrolling down and just say, okay, I want somebody who really talks about this strategy in session. On my particular channel, I do exactly that. I do long form content like this one, where I can talk to you in long form, long capabilities, and really go in depth on a specific problem like fixing your YouTube channel. But short advice, like a video that I did earlier today, is just about counting, your wins and like enjoying the good times. That doesn't have to necessarily take a long form content. Sure, we could probably go deeper into that strategy, but the reality of it is that what I want you to get from that is that depending on what you're actually looking for, you might prioritize the type of content for what it is that you're trying to do. Big business strategy, long form video. Short, quick fixes, shorts. So, in conclusion, YouTube isn't broken. It's just the viewing experience is challenging because of just the scale and the quality of what's actually going on out there. So, the call to action here is take a little bit of time to actually build your curate your projects the way that they need to go. Take a little bit of time to actually develop and curate your own feed. Focus on channels that deliver value over quality of things. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with looking for educational content or entertainment content, but take a look at what it is that you're watching, what you're devoting your time to. Spend some time curating that feed yourself. Good luck out there. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.